Hello, welcome to the Metropolitan Elites, and we're all disgusting on our ivory tower, looking down on everyone from London, because obviously you can tell by our accents that's where we're from.
From London, innit?
The lizards who are aliens and stuff, and Illuminati triangles. Tell us what to say, and it was this.
Should we do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happened in America? Let's do crazy heads first.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, should we call it? I think we should call it now.
Okay, go for it.
I think we're going to see President Trump. I'm going to call it now, because it's always in retrospect with all the American elections. You always think in retrospect, well, it was obvious, wasn't it? It was obvious who was going to win. It was almost like it was preset and it was planned.
Well, I mean, he's going through a bit of a dip at the moment. He had a go at the Bush family, and he had a bit of a dip in the polls from that. Traditional Conservatives don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go at a previous Republican.
That's the thing. Whereas it's a very sensible thing to say, actually, to go at the Bush family, who, it's so ridiculous. You haven't seen Arrested Development, have you?
No.
It's basically about the Bush family. That's basically what it is. It's quite funny.
Ted Cruz seems to have got the better of him a little bit, though. I mean, he released an ad of Donald Trump saying he was pro-choice, and Donald Trump threatened to sue him for defamation. The ad is literally just Donald Trump's interview, saying Donald Trump interviewed Ted Cruz, or no one associated with the campaign has said anything.
That's the right other side of the extreme, isn't it? From Jeremy Corbyn on the one side, who just doesn't do that at all. Adverts of their opponents saying... Yeah.
And so Donald Trump says, I'll sue you for defamation, you're such a liar. And Ted Cruz has come out and said, go for it. How can you possibly sue me for defamation for
posting
a clip of what you say? Are you saying what you said?
That's really interesting, though. I had no idea that he's painting a picture. He's created an image of a political position which he doesn't necessarily have.
There was a poll where Ted Cruz had nudged ahead of Donald Trump, but it was just one poll, and it seems a little bit dodgy because it doesn't seem to chime with all the other polls. He's well ahead for South Carolina. But nationally, it seems his support is on the wane a bit as candidates go by the wayside and they coalesce around other candidates. Jeb Bush is nowhere near that. I mean, they've got George Bush in to campaign for him. He's in real trouble, which is surprising because he's obviously attracting big donations.
The numbers are just ridiculous because he's so ineffectual. He's having the amount of money he's pumping into it to get to tiny little votes. There should be a bit of schadenfreude with that, really, shouldn't there? But the problem is that the person who's doing better is the same, isn't he? He's just not a family of people like that. It's just him.
I mean, there's a bit of independence about him, so he doesn't have to kowtow to anyone. Yeah. Theoretically, he's funding his own campaign. I'm not sure how true that is.
But I mean, he's the people who will be funding the politician to say those things anyway. Yeah. So he's cutting out the middleman. What difference does that make? He's still
I mean, he's been incredibly effective at raising controversial issues, which has got him coverage, which has increased his support. That was probably the purpose of the George Bush comment, putting some responsibility on him for 9/11.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly serious charge.
Yeah.
I don't think wholly unfounded. I mean, he was president, and the president is responsible for what happens. It's just
there was an
weighted that is. But
there was an element of incompetence, an element of ideology getting in the way of just looking at evidence. But
it's quite controversial to say that these are. I mean, when Ken Livingstone said Tony Blair had responsibility for 7/7.
Yeah, the whole media exploded and
just went into
lied about him massively.
It seems really intuitive to me, or just obvious, statement of the obvious, that Tony Blair was the Prime Minister, he is responsible for the safety of our country, and something went wrong, so therefore he's got to bear part of the responsibility. That's what a responsible leader does.
Yeah, I think it'll be Hillary versus Trump. I think it'll be close. Because Hillary's damaged goods as well. She's unpopular with some people. And there's some dodgy stories and stuff.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure Trump will go the distance.
To the Republican, what do you mean?
For the Republican nomination. And okay, let's do the Bernie Sanders bit now. We've done Trump.
Yeah,
so okay. Switch over to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, we had a comment the other week about Donald Trump being a marketing genius. Yeah. Denigrating, great movement.
Oh, he's not, is he? Because his businesses all fail.
Bernie Sanders is the marketing, because Hillary has got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Her whole strategy at the moment seems to be, oh yeah, I'll do what Bernie Sanders is doing, only I'll do it slightly better and slightly more nuanced. I'm not a one-issue candidate, I've got lots of things going for me. As people start to hear Bernie Sanders' message, which is incredibly simple, but incredibly powerful, ultimately common sense, people are coming round to him. And I think as he sort of starts to penetrate the African American community, I think he'll start getting people coming around. And it's got to the point where Carl Bernstein last week came on the news and says the White House is horrified by how Hillary Clinton is throwing this away. But I'm not sure there's anything she can do.
No. If someone can actually tell me otherwise, that would be good. With citations, the person with the most funding always wins the election.
That may be true, but on that score, Bernie Sanders has raised more now than Obama did in his entire campaign.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, and Hillary's struggling.
Yeah, without help from Goldman Sachs.
Which she won't release the transcripts to the speeches she gave until everyone in the world releases transcripts to speeches. I mean, that people aren't that stupid. People, listen to that and think, what are you talking about? Just release the transcript. What can be in there? What's going to be so bad in there?
Yeah, so what you're saying is, yes, there is something in there.
It's going to dog her like the emails. These emails, I'm sick of hearing about these damn emails. We're going to be sick about hearing these damn transcripts soon because...
Yeah, just release them and it'll do it early.
Yeah. I mean, if he wins Nevada, I mean, that's quite an important one. He's training quite a lot in South Carolina. So he's managed to turn that around. Those are the people that would normally vote for Hillary Clinton. There was a great interview with a guy called Killer Mike. Never heard of him, he's a rapper. He does a real switched on guy, like really intelligent guy. Yeah. It was amazing. It's like an amazing interview, two guys chatting, and you can just see Bernie Sanders knows it. He's thought it through and he believes it with his heart. And he says, there's these people get into politics and they're sort of, they get, and if I adopt this position, I adopt it, they're getting when they're about 30 odd or whatever. If I do this and I do that, then maybe when I'm 55 I could run for president. He says, when I first went into politics, do you know how much percentage of the vote I got? 2%. Mm-hmm. He goes, and then I ran again, I got 1%. That's because I go into politics because I give a damn.
Yeah.
And he does, and it's obvious.
He actually really does.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Spin. He actually really does.
And it's sort of culminating with this advert. Did you see the advert? The Together advert? It wasn't done by the Bernie Sanders campaign, it was done by support here.
Alright.
They pieced this together, a bit of his speech, and they did some footage with it. I don't know whether to include it in the video or not, but it's really inspiring. It's sort of like, it gives you goosebumps. It's almost like, we're talking sort of like Martin Luther King type inspiration. If that goes viral, and he hasn't done that, his supporters are doing that. And if that kind of thing spreads through, the penetration is going to be ultimate. And I really can't see how, even Republican voters, Republican working class voters...
There's lots of things he says.
Yeah, that would appeal to them.
Yeah.
He's going to appeal to Republican voters.
Yeah. But, I'm still too cynical. Because he's going against the media, basically, isn't he? The media aren't going to want those Republicans to hear that. And in the entertainment capital of the world, we're still talking about people who are actually clued up. We're talking about what he's actually saying.
People are interested, yeah.
Not, there's an old man. Well, if that happens, we'll have a big banner behind us saying hope. I don't believe it. I can't. It's not. Maybe down the line. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see you next week for that. Lizards will ring us up and tell us to lie about the EU once again.
Blah blah blah.
See you then.